Today is Baisakhi, the day the Khalsa was born. And on this day, I want to ask one honest question about time, about culture, about the belief of our gurus pertaining to how they recorded the time. Welcome to the first episode of Varta with Shubhit. 3 calendars matter in this conversation. I'm going to discuss each one of them and then we'll delve more deeper into the conversation. So the first calendar is the Gregorian Calendar, introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582. And this was a solar calendar that covered a lot of errors that were there and corrected them in the Roman calendar. And this today is followed throughout the world. It is a global civil standard, followed throughout the world for all sorts of purposes. It is practical and universal. The second type of calendar is what the Indian subcontinent followed for centuries. The name of the calendar is the Vikram Samvat calendar. It is a lunisolar calendar established in tradition which runs on 12-month basis aligned with seasons. For centuries, Hindus and Sikhs have used this calendar to mark important dates and festivals. For the Sikhs, it was used to mark the Gurpurabs or the birthdates or the Jayantis of the 10 gurus of the Sikh community. Vikram Samvat was the calendars that gurus lived by, and not just lived by, they wrote on it too. The third type of calendar is the Nanakshahi Calendar. It was developed by a Canadian scholar, Pal Singh Purewal, in early 90s, and it was given legitimacy by the SGPC, Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, in 2003 to fix the dates of Gurpurabs, to give the Sikh community a different calendar with fixed independent dates. The intention was honorable, but the execution was complicated. So what happened to the Nanakshahi calendar? In 2010, under sustained pressure by Sant Samaj, a traditional group of Sikh bodies around India, the SGPC reverted back to the original dates of Vikram Samvat. But this created a rift between the Indian Sikh community as well as the diaspora. But this created somewhat a rift or a difference between the Indian Sikhs and the diaspora, the Sikh diaspora which resides in US, Canada and England. What that means is, while SGPC decides the dates of Gurpurabs based on Vikram Samvat in India, and all the Sikhs living in India follow that, the Sikhs living outside, particularly in these 3 countries that I mentioned, they follow the Mool Nanakshahi calendar, which means that, let's say there is Guru Gobind Singh Ji Jayanti or Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Gurpurav. A Sikh in India would be celebrating it on a different day, and there is a big possibility that a Sikh living somewhere in Birmingham in England or Chicago in the US would follow it or would celebrate it on a different day. The very problem the Nanakshahi calendar wanted to solve has come back in a different form. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was one of the most learned scholars of his time. He was well versed in a lot of languages of the medieval India, starting with Sanskrit, then Braj Bhasha, Persian, Arabic, and of course Gurmukhi or Punjabi. And he wrote a lot of detailed text in Braj Bhasha, which was the cultural and somewhat of a religious language used by various saints and scholars in medieval India. He wrote compositions of extraordinary depth: Bachitar Natak, Ram Avatar, Krishan Avatar, and the favorite one that I have is Chaupai Sahib. It's a part of the Nitnem recited by the Sikhs throughout the world every day. The majority of the Dasam Granth, the Granth written by Guru Gobind Singh Ji, is in Braj Bhasha. As I mentioned earlier, it is, or it was at that point in time, the language that was used by all scholars in medieval India. And in his writings, there were many instances where Guru Gobind Singh Ji himself used Vikram Samvat to record the exact date or the approximate date of writing those granths or those compositions. So I'm going to cite you 3 examples, and please permit me to look into my screen to read them. And I again apologize if I am not too well with the pronunciation because I am not well versed in Braj Bhasha, and all these 3 verses will be in Braj Bhasha. So the first one is from Chaupai Sahib, verse 405, and it goes something as Sambat Satra Sahas Panije, Ardh Sahas Funteen Kahije, Padri Sud Ashtami Ravivara, Tir Sutradav Granth Sudara, which means Vikram Samvat 1753, the 8th day of the bright fortnight of Bhadrapad, a Sunday, on the banks of the Satluj, this Granth was completed. So, as per Vikram Samvat, it was 1753, but as we know that Vikram Samvat is 57 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar, or the calendar that the world uses today. The date as per the Gregorian calendar was 1696. The second one, in Krishan Avatar, Sambat Satra Se 45 Mahi Granth Sudara, Paunta Sahib Tir Sutraduv Kavita Vistara. It says Vikram Samvat 1745, at Paunta Sahib on the banks of Satluj, this composition was expanded. As per Gregorian calendar, this would be 1688. The third one, which is a part of Ram Avatar Dasam Granth at Anandpur Sahib, Sambat Satra Se Panchvaja Meh Granth Sudara, Anandapur Su Nain Devi Tir Granth Vistara. Sambat, which means Vikram Samvat 1755, at Anandpur Sahib near Naina Devi on the banks of Satluj, this composition was completed. As per Gregorian calendar, the date was 1698. 3 compositions, 3 locations, 3 different years, 1 language, Braj Bhasha, and 1 calendar symbol and 1 calendar system, Vikram Samvat. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Guru Gobind Singh Ji was a learned scholar, a poet, a warrior. He created the Khalsa, the warrior clan of the Sikh community, and in the broader prospect of India as well. So, what I want to ask today, and this is the question that I wanted to ask, is that such a great scholar who was so learned, who had written such deep compositions, was he not capable of actually creating his own calendar system? I believe the answer to many of you, I believe many of you would answer that yes, he was probably capable. Why did he not do it? Well, the answer to that in my brain is that he wanted to continue the current system of Indian subcontinent calendar. He wanted to continue the calendar system of Indian subcontinent at that moment, which was Vikram Samvat. Was it really necessary to create Nanakshahi, or was that a way to create a rift between different sects in India who follow Vikram Samvat and probably try and create a different identity? That's a question we need to ask today to ourselves. And should we be following Nanakshahi calendar, which was created centuries after Guru Gobind Singh Ji left this world? And should we be following the calendar system that Guru Gobind Singh Ji followed? That's a question you need to ask. Again, at the end of this, I just want to tell I'm not against any calendar system. I'm not here to create any rift or any controversy, but I'm just here to start a conversation, to ask certain questions. Again, happy Baisakhi to everyone. Thank you.